Okay, morning, folks. Welcome to the day of the big question mark. And Trevor is coming and going, so there's a question mark into what he's doing. But Lee, you're going to have to explain this one to us. What is the question mark all about?
Yeah.
Well, that is the question. Yeah, as I said yesterday, I was struck by Edward's final slide, you know, this big sort of white page. And I thought that was also significant, as there's this blank page and this big black question mark. And there's this beautiful song. And I can't remember who wrote it. Natasha Bedingfield, I think. She wrote a song called It's Yet Unwritten. And it's literally about the blank page of your life that there's still to be written on. And I love that song because it just gives you the sense that that there's nothing, that there's still choice, there's still opportunity. There are things that you haven't done yet, haven't thought about doing yet, and the story is ongoing. And also that your past is not your future, that there's something that lies ahead. And so the question of, you know, what next? Where do you, is there some inkling? Do you have a dream? Do you have an idea of what's around the corner? And I ask that question because, you know, we have spoken about our dreams and maybe our purpose a little bit, but we're having to adapt. Not so much our purpose maybe, but certainly where we go and what we're doing and how are we seeing the way forward at the moment. And when I was thinking about this question for myself, I thought, you know, I think when I allowed my mind to wander, which I do fairly often, I would think about travel, seeing wonderful places and visiting extraordinary cultures and going for long walks. That's my, as you know, I love walking, and so I would think about walking in northern Italy or around Ireland, or as I mentioned, going on this road trip along, you know, from one end of Australia to the other. So those are the things that sort of would draw my attention, and I still love travel and I'd still love to do those things. But during lockdown, I have felt very comfortable at home. And I don't know if my world is becoming smaller, but I just, I'm feeling very hermitish, and I keep thinking this will pass, and that, you know, I'll want to venture out but when I think about even going to the shops, it feels like such an effort. So you know, what's next for me is I'm passionate about wisdoms, and I'm passionate about what we can do with it. And it feels like I can do that from my desk and from my laptop. And so the world is open to me. Edward's sitting here. Kevin's usually here. I was on a networking meeting on Tuesday, and there's a lady, BJ, from the States. And I just feel like I don't have to go to the world. The world is coming to me. And I don't mean that in a very sort of self-egocentric way. It just means that the world is opening in ways that I hadn't anticipated. And therefore, the what next is very exciting, but it doesn't mean I have to go anywhere. It's right in front of me. And it's interesting because that's one of the principles of wisdoms, is that it's at your fingertips. It's at your fingertips. So Trevor obviously wants to say something next. So that's well, me.
He's not allowed to. I've got to actually bring him in. So yeah. No, what you're saying there, you know, so all I can say is welcome to the Matrix. Yeah. So Trevor, over to you.
All right. Yes, I think that question mark. What a fantastic topic point here, because I think our lives have significantly changed, and most people don't understand it. And for us, at Wisdoms, I think this is usually exciting because we don't understand it. I woke up this morning and a mate of mine had just passed away from a heart attack. Edward, this will mean something to you. I bumped into this guy. His name is Dr. Shorty Muller. He was on my rounds when I was in the pharmaceutical game down in Durban, and I discovered him as a backyard doctor in Pinetown when I was playing rugby in those days. And I think I had just run my first Comrades, and we started chatting about running because he was just starting to walk. And Shorty, I think he ended up also doing 10 Comrades, but so Emmy Muller, if you're going to have a look for him, and he became the first ever Olympic team doctor for South Africa. So this might mean something to Cecile as well. So a lot of our mates that were in those particular circles in the early days, I can't remember when that was, 1994 it could have been, or 96. And then I woke up this morning to the news, and he's a Muslim, so he's been buried straight away, that he had passed away, 71 years of age, of a heart attack. And it just struck me in the thoughts that I don't know whether it's my age, but I don't think it is. I think that we have been blessed with an opportunity to really work out what it is that we want to do. And I think in the discussions that we're doing here, we're starting to get down to common sense understandings that you can do great things from your chair, or you can venture out 10 meters outside and you can become a nomad outside of your home, just like Ivan does, walking around his yard for 2 days on end. Or you can go a little bit further when restrictions get out of it, but we can start thinking about what sort of lifestyles we actually want to live. And I do believe one of the most important things that people actually bypass all the time is, okay, there are certain expenses required to actually go and do things. If I want to go to Northern Italy, if I want to take my family, I mean, I just took my family over to New York and to Disney World. Please, Ivan, you've got to get into my mind and remind me where we went. I mean, that to take them there cost just short of $500,000.
You didn't take me with, so why should I? Yeah.
No, well, that's I am sending you the bill, but it was just short of R500,000 to do those travels, and that's a hell of a lot of money to take your family around. The first time that I took them on that particular trip probably cost us about 125 odd grand, just to give you an idea. So these things take money, and you have to have a balance between bringing income in. Therefore, what value do you offer other people that allows them to give you the money, that allows you to go and take the break? Or do you dump all of that and do low-cost traveling like we're doing at the moment here? I think we are on the cusp of such exciting stuff. Right, I better get out of here. I think people are waving people in or waving me goodbye. Well, I see they're waving someone in. Okay.
Yeah, no problem, Trevor. We were just saying hi to Warren. So Warren's joining us for the first time also from the UK. So morning, Warren. Just to let you know, Warren, we're talking about the big question mark. So what's next? What's next in your life? What's next in your career? You know, where to from here? What does it mean? So Trevor was just taking his spot there. So Trevor, yeah.
Okay. Well, now that my poor self-esteem realizes that wasn't chasing me away, I'm gonna summarize quickly that I think we are on the cusp of such exciting opportunities around what we're doing here, and I want you guys to know that we're doing this next Friday, the first ever Wisdoms Global Summit. We're talking around this. We've got some great speakers coming on board. And on top of that, after this meeting, we're planning a big, hairy audacious goal in that the virtual trade fair, where we've got 118 exhibitors on board, in the next 60 days, we are taking it to 1,000 exhibitors. Now that's sitting on our backsides in our own little lockdown environments where some people are saying we can do nothing here. We're doing these big things, and I think they're magnificent things that we're doing this little question mark with a purpose.
Great, thanks, Trevor. All right, Edward, I'm sure you don't want to sit on your chair all day. Manny wants to run many miles. What's next?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Lee picked up that question mark, because it is for me a big question mark. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, and I think, you know, the whole COVID thing has created, as Trevor said, this pause, and I've been thinking myself, maybe as a team, when teams get together, you get that forming stage, and then I think you get a storming stage. And I think I've been through the forming stage. I've been through the storming stage. So maybe I'm now in a norming. It's called norming stage, you know. And where maybe I'll settle down a bit. And I've been thinking now about, actually, a bit like Lee was saying, you know, going out's a bit of a faff. So maybe I'll stay in more. And I've been looking at. I'm very passionate about the environment. And I'm thinking, well, actually, I can achieve quite a lot there. Quite interestingly, yesterday, I was on a meeting with people from Singapore, Hong Kong, the Philippines, Australia, Switzerland, and Scotland. And we were talking about environmental matters. And I was thinking, well, actually, if I just influence those sort of groups slightly, what a massive difference I can make. So I am thinking about actually kind of giving up all the traveling, giving up all the going around. I think I want to find somewhere else to live where I've got a little bit of garden where I can plant stuff and for once in my life look after stuff, because I won't be traveling, so I can grow my own vegetables, I can grow my own fruit. I'm thinking maybe I'll settle down and use the whole COVID thing as a way of tapping into the world electronically. So I'm really looking forward to how, you know, people develop with virtual webinars, virtual trade shows, that sort of stuff. And can I link in there and pursue a passion for the environment, my passion for the outdoors, my passion for nature through a static medium, almost by sitting on my chair. So that's me. I'm thinking about settling down.
Great, I love that, Edward, because most people talk about, you know, think about settling down when you're in your early 20s and early 30s, perhaps not when you're sort of pushing towards your early 70s. But so I love that you've lived a full life, and now you're thinking about settling down. What a way to go! So yeah, I love that. So Mpulela, let's come to you. What's your big question mark?
All right. Good morning to everyone. Look, obviously, where I currently am is still pretty much a planning stage of the whole leadership and management thing. The next step would be to obviously then put that in the virtual world. So try and automate as much of the process as possible and then put it online. Where it becomes a bit of a challenge for me is that the idea was that once the planning is done and once everything is in place and I can run, I would have loved to then solely focus on being a public speaker. That's where I see myself in the next 10 years. So public speaking, writing and releasing of books. Where it's a challenge for me is that I haven't seen much of the world yet. And part of the public speaking was gonna also help me to see the world. But now that there's COVID, that's where the difficulty comes in, to say probably in the future there'll be less traveling and more doing things online. But I would have loved to be physically in different places. But I also like people. I like the interaction. I almost feel like even with Wisdoms, it would have been nice if I'd met some of you already and literally shake hands, have coffee. I'm that type of a person. I really enjoy interaction. So I'm having to adjust that, my love for interacting with people, with being online. I have to say it did, and it is taking me a bit of time to just solely rely on doing things online. But that's where the world is, and therefore the adjustment is required. All I'm saying is that it's a bit more difficult for me because I enjoy people, but the adjustment has to be done.
Great, thanks, Mpolelo. Right, Stella, let's get across to you.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, so for me, the question mark, which is not a question mark anymore, is my business that I need to focus on. But in my personal life, I think what is more question mark for myself is I discover things of myself that I didn't know before. And that is so enriching for me and so exciting to actually rediscover myself and to decide what is important in my life. What do I really want to do? I think for many years, I've been so busy with my previous job. It was like a rat race, and you didn't have time to be still and to hear God's voice and to really dig deep into yourself. And I think this wisdom chats have actually awakened that more in myself. But I think the importance of just being still and to let all the noise, get rid of all the noise and just be in yourself and in the presence of God. And I want to grow more with my relationship with God. And in doing so, I can be a better version of myself. And if I'm a better version of myself, I can help other people being better versions of themselves. So that is what my focus is going forward from now. Thanks, guys.
Great, thanks, Stella. Right, Cecile, are you with us? I know you've been in and outing with your technology there. Is it working for you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to see, but the camera's not working on this, and so I'm trying to actually get this better. But yeah, I kind of feel like Lee. I'm quite happy to be a hermit. I'm the last person that was a hermit, but I'm quite happy to be a hermit. It is a schlep now to go out to the shop. Although when you're there, it's like, okay, let me have a coffee there because it feels like an outing. Yeah, because I'm quite happy to just mix with my family and talk to my friends and acquaintances on Zoom and on the phone. What I do want to do is actually move. I might as well go and do this in Jeffreys Bay. Everything that I'm doing from here, because that's where my sister is now, where my mom is. I hardly see my brothers that live 2 kilometers from me. So I can do all of this there. And the people, I'll just miss my daughter. My son lives in England anyway. My daughter and her family. But yeah, if we play our cards right, maybe they'll move down to the Eastern Cape and do all the things there. Chasing the PPE stuff is, I don't know, maybe it feels like chasing your tail, but it's a little step at a time. And I will, and it's definitely, I've got a network marketing company that's fantastic, but I haven't had time to spend time on it. And it can benefit anyone, but I haven't had time to spend on it. So it is time. It is time to say, okay, because in the last 2 months, I've let my PA, who's worked for me for 15 years, I've let her do virtually all the chit-chat stuff. I've given her a lot more responsibility, and she must just do it all. So maybe kind of moving away from that a little bit and yeah, see where we're going. But I'm quite happy to be this hermit with my family. So that sounds horrible, but it doesn't mean I'm clutching out. I'm just changing gears.
You're the last person I expected Cecile to become a hermit, so I'm quite amazed. Right, let's get across to to Warren. Warren, you've had a little chance to listen into what people are thinking, what people are saying. So let's put you on the spot this morning. So where are you at, and where to from here for Warren?
Yeah, so morning everyone. I just want to give a big shout out to Lee. Lee did an amazing talk the other day on your partnerships, which was amazing. Inspired me and made me want to come on these, because I heard Ed and Joe, Kevin had been on here. So it's a way of getting my day going. So thank you very much. So I'm in the same boat as Ed, Lee, and a lot of you, because I love being at home. I actually love being with my family. I'm fortunate we've got a garden that's nice enough for the kids to run around in. I can grow my own veggies, which I've done this year, built my own planters in lockdown. So I love that. I don't really need to go out if I can help it. So I'm part of your partnerships with Brock in Cornwall. I love that. I love the virtual aspect. I do miss some of the face-to-face for some of the people that I've met virtually. I would like to meet face-to-face because we've become really good friends. But for me and my other business, yeah, it's doing it all virtual now. I can do it all from home. I don't have to go anywhere. Previously, if I had to go see a customer, I could drive an hour, do the appointment in an hour and a half, drive back in an hour. And now, with it all being virtual, I can do 4 appointments in those 4 hours or 3 hours. I can do that. And it's working really well. And I love helping people save money, and I love helping people earn money, which is the whole ethos of the company. And I don't charge anything, which is the other beautiful thing. So I want to grow that side of the business, build a team, help other people save money and earn an income. But I also want to grow your partnerships, and we will grow. It's already growing throughout the UK, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And as Brock will always, you know, I've said to him that I will do whatever. You go out and grow whatever you want to grow, and I'll take over as much as you want me to. So I love being with my family. I don't really want to get on a plane. I was supposed to be going on a holiday to Greece in August, and we were really apprehensive, but they just cancelled it. They postponed it to next year, which is fantastic. So I'm really happy. I can't imagine why anyone would want to get on a plane, really, with all those people. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So yeah, that's me. I'm really looking forward to it. The world is going to change. It has already changed. It's only going to get worse in terms of redundancies, job losses. The governments are going to have to get their money back somehow. And a second income is vital for people. It's the biggest search engine thing people are searching on Google. So yeah, it's for me, I'm really happy because we can grow that. All we need is to meet more people. That's all. So, and with the networking with your partnerships, I'm going to do that. So yeah, right. I'm loving it. Fantastic. And Lee, your brother's photographs, I've still got his website on my browser. I love the photographs, and I will get one.
Good. Fantastic. Thanks, Warren. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever thought I'd hear somebody say, I'm so happy that my holiday's been cancelled. So yeah, isn't it strange? You would never have heard that said sort of 4 to 6 months ago, would you? Yeah. Right. Zipa, let's get across to you.
Thanks, Ivan. Morning, everyone. I sort of joined in late. I had something to attend to, which went just a little over 8. I think for me, in terms of work and the business side, I'm currently working on generating a second income stream. That's what's taking up a lot of my time now. This project that we're focusing on, I'm hoping I'll be done with it probably by the end of July, that it will start running then. On the current business, it's obviously ensuring that the training goes online. And my next is, I think I've always said, my dream is making sure that I have an academy. So that's also still on the pipeline. On the personal side, I'm doing a lot of research in terms of spirituality. Like I'm diving into the spirituality side, like I've got this, like somebody gave me this huge 600-page book that I can't even put down when I go to sleep, which is just amazing. And it's about the entire spiritual world. So that's on my personal side. And just the last one, which I forgot to mention on the business, is also the research I'm doing on business systems. And that's where I am. I kind of feel overwhelmed by all of the stuff that has to be done at the moment. Like my body, or rather my mind, just decides now to just take its own breaks. Like, when it's tired, what is supposed to take me an hour to do, my mind will just, do a whole lot of other things. And before I know it, overwhelmed too. So a part of just needs a break. That's where I am right now. Thanks.
Thanks, Nozipho. Right, Jeffrey, let's get across to you.
Yeah, morning everyone. How are we all? Yeah, kind of been listening this morning. Yeah, there's a couple of conflicting. I mean, I don't quite know, where my plans are going forward. The videography game isn't particularly great at the moment. And so many people, like the guys have been saying how you're enjoying, Warren saying how he's enjoying working from home, etc., etc. Me, I can't really work. I can work from home, but if I don't go out with my cameras and do something with my cameras, then there's nothing to do at home. So I'm actually finding that quite challenging. I mean, I had a client the other day and then they said, well, can't we take Zoom stuff and make material from that? And I'm going, for heaven's sake, but anyway, so I'm finding that quite a big challenge at the moment. And of course, as far as myself goes, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty good. I mean, yeah, you're kind of sort of happy. I mean, like I said to somebody yesterday, if I had 5 new clients, life would actually be pretty good right now. I'm in a fairly good space. It's just the fact that the current account has, turned into a dry river. But apart from that, life's actually pretty good. I mean, I go for my evening walks, which I haven't. Well, I've always gone to gym and kind of done it, but obviously, and then I invariably go walk around in circles at the gym, or sort of have a race across the other side of the room with the person on the treadmill next to me. So I've actually started, when lockdown started, I went for a walk every single day. Blow Mr. Plod. Did have a little altercation with one once, but anyway. So I go for a walk, about sort of a 35-40 minute walk most days. So yeah, my mind's in a slightly different place. So yeah, going forward, yes, we've got to find other opportunities, which I've been looking into. So we'll see what the universe has in store for all of us in this brave new world. To quote that wonderful novel, what was it called? A War of the Worlds. Yeah. Yes. Remember, and if ever you guys ever listened to the album in the 80s, The War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne, I can see Trevor nodding there. Wasn't that a brilliant album? I've actually still got an import version of that on vinyl. God, it was, yes, Thunderchild. Yes, anyway, I digress. Have a sparkling day, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, it makes me think of the great big videographer or TV screen in the sky or something. I'm not too sure where that one comes from, but Jasper, right? Let's get across to you.
I'm glad Jeffrey came in there because I wasn't thinking of the world of the photographers and the videographers, and that's the thing. The world out there is becoming more open to many more things to do, and I think all of us have now discovered this new tool of Zoom, and you're trying to think, what can I do from Zoom so that I don't have to go out again? And it's actually good to know that there's a few things that you still need to go out, because with Edward not wanting to travel and fly anymore, I have a huge question mark in my mind about this asset that we build up as a family. I've already made peace with the fact that conferencing is out. We will, use Zoom for that. Now Edward doesn't want to come to South Africa anymore. He just wants to be in his garden and stuff like that. So I don't have visitors coming to stay in my accommodation units. So I'm sitting here with a huge question mark of, you know, you spent almost 35 years of building up an asset. Now, what is then the new role of this asset? So I still have that question mark of this new role of this asset, because the big thing, an asset must work. Then on that same line of assets, I think it's incredible that the opportunity, and with the networks that's now forming through South Africa and UK and overseas, that's really your asset, your relationship. And by word of mouth, some people referring you to other people. And now with the technology, everybody has a chance to build that type of asset up without spending millions of rands like they had to do in the old days with conventional advertising and marketing. I think the big thing now is to almost, and with that, the world become, like Lee, I think you said it, the world's coming to you, and the world is big. But that the interesting part is all the families around the world have the basic same needs. Give me quality, give me entertainment, make my life meaningful, etc. So I think niche opportunities will open up, and the question mark for all of us would be, what is that thing that I have that I can package that will fit that niche market, and then go and find that niche market. So I think the why we need to do things, that block is ticked. The how is for me the question mark that I'm still figuring out in a big way. And then maybe also the who. I think with location limitations, we sometimes were limited to the people that you can get interested in your product or service. But now with the world opening up, there is no limit. So it's then important that you define the who, that you don't spend too much time on the wrong target market. Yeah, so I think for myself, it's about the big question mark that drives me right now for our family is, what do I do with, how do I repurpose this asset? Because I have to come to some sort of, and I don't have answers, and I'm open to any kind of answer. Interesting, going into the lockdown, one of the things I considered was converting it into a creche. Who would have known that COVID is just annihilating schools? Nobody's going back to that. And now people, I mean, even my little kid, grandkid, there's now online stuff that my son then prints out, and we keep him busy that way. So I think what happened, and I don't know who said it, Jeffrey said, with you wasting time on travel. I think without intention, we have become extremely productive. The time that would have been spent in travel is now spent in networking and meeting people. My challenge is every Zoom meeting opens up other probabilities or possibilities. And I had a chat yesterday with a guy, and he said he needs to tie up a few loose ends. But in my case, it's almost like every day I end up with more loose ends that I don't know how to tie up the loose ends. So I'm in this time of almost having to now learn to just take a step back and say, okay, what do I say no to so I can say yes to the things that are really important for me? Yeah, so I think that's my contribution.
Great, thanks Jasper. Yeah, you know, it is interesting. I mean, everybody sort of saying similar things in a way about being happy staying at home and watching other people on the other side of Zoom. I must admit that's not where I want to be. You know, we've done a lot of that over this period, and for me, I just want to get back out into the bush. You know, I love nature. I love the bush, and I want to be out there. I want to be out there with my camera. I want to be out there with my video capabilities, Jeffrey. And for me, for people like us who enjoy photography and videography, you know, let's go out and document the world, document nature, and provide that back to people who want to sit behind their TV screens and their computer screens, and they can watch it vicariously through us. That's what I'd love to be doing at the moment. And yeah, great way to social distance, you know, be kilometers and kilometers away from the next people. No problem at all with that. So that's where my mind is going these days. I think somebody said, if you want a good psychologist, go and spend some time in nature. And I think that's that's where a lot of us need to be at the moment, is getting our heads cleared and get some space in our minds, even if it's not behind the desk. But it's interesting because Trevor and I often used to chat about so what do you do with, if you were to start your life again after your 20 or 30 years of business experience? If you had to start something new today, how would you leverage that knowledge and that experience that you've gained over the last 20 or 30 years in business? Because we're living, generally people are living a lot longer these days, and the trend seems to be that this is going to continue, barring obviously pandemics and other unforeseen circumstances like that. But myself, as the folk who were on board yesterday, no, it was my birthday yesterday, so I just turned 59. So yeah, I'm a day over 59 today. So the question is, where to for the next 30 years? For me, 30 years from now, I want to be as active and as interested and as engaged in life as I am today. And so how can I leverage the last 30 or 40 years of knowledge and experience and turn that into something completely new going forward for the next 30 or 40 years? God willing, as Trevor often likes to say, we never know, when our time is up, but I think we have to anticipate. So we have to anticipate long futures, and we have to anticipate, being engaged. I think retirement is an outdated, outmoded and useless word. It's not retirement. It's just a readjustment, realignment, and repurposing of what we do and what we can do. And so that's where the question marks are for me. So thanks, folks, everybody. Lee, I think over to you to wrap up and tell us what's on the cards. What's the question mark for tomorrow? So what are we going to chat about tomorrow?
Yeah, I think one of the questions that is raised for me from what people are saying is, how do we sustain this new way of life? And I hear words like overwhelmed, and I know for myself, as much as I see the potential of Zoom, and I hear Warren talking about the pace of life in a way, going from one meeting to the next, is that we don't actually have, we're doing more in less time, and a lot of it is in the screen. So I think of Ivan saying, nature, it gives us, where are we getting the space in our minds, the space in our lives? And I think that's the question is yes, we're making changes. Yes, there's adjustments that need to be made, but how are we sustaining a healthy, holistic life that is enabling us to do these new and different things? And so, yeah, let's talk about that tomorrow. What are you doing? Or what do you plan to do? What are you thinking you should be doing going forward if you feel like things aren't sustainable right now? So yeah, love to hear from you.
Great, thanks Lee. Thanks everybody. Have a fantastic day further. Look forward to seeing you in the morning. Thanks for joining us this morning, Warren. Hope we see you back. And go well. Have a great one.
Cheers, everyone.
I will. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye.